You guys are listening to another episode of S&M Radio. I'm Shannon.
I'm Mark.
We are going to be talking about a movie that the two of us just got home from a little bit over an hour ago.
Yay, a road trip.
And
Another road trip.
It was. We were trying to figure this out, and we never did come to a conclusive number. If this was the third or the fourth, or what the number was for the S&M Radio outings.
I'm going to say third. I think it was Krampus, The Boy, and then this would be number 3. I can't recall anything else.
Yeah, outside of like flashback and stuff, I don't know if we really did anything. But anyway, we went and saw a movie that came out last weekend.
Wow, that's new for us.
Well, it turns out this movie actually came out in 1999, which is weird.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the brand new movie, The Blair Witch. Or not even The Blair Witch, it's just called Blair Witch.
Yeah, and they could have just put in the and project and it would have been fine.
Oh, completely and totally, yes. If you haven't heard anything about the movie yet, we probably already wrecked it for you, sorry. But
yeah, I think you get at where we're going with this.
I would say spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Because there's really not much you can say about this one without giving it away. And one of the things that I was doing when we were prepping for this, and when I say we were prepping for this, I mean as we were getting ready to go see it, because we'd been talking about going to see this one for a couple of months. And then we couldn't go see it on opening weekend. And so we had to wait a week.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of avoided anything online about it. Anytime I saw a picture from the movie show up on Instagram or an article on Facebook or whatever, I just kind of clicked past it. Because I didn't want to dig too much into it, because I didn't want to really know too much going in. And I watched the trailer that was released after Comic-Con. But other than that, I kind of steered clear from it a little bit. Reviews that I had heard, or what I paid attention to, other reviews that I had heard, was there was polar opposite opinions of it. Either you loved it or you hated it. I did hear one or two times the phrase, if you liked the first one, you will like this one. I kind of brushed that off and didn't really give it too much thought. Aside from was it 1999 Psycho? I don't know if you could come up with a movie that was damn near shot-for-shot remake of the original.
Yeah, I think that's where this one probably went wrong, is that they played too close to the formula. Now, again, to be fair, being that you and I are both Friday the 13th fans, it's hard to bash this movie for doing that, being that like pretty much every Friday the 13th movie is the same movie, just with different people in it. But for some reason, with the slasher films, it kind of works. With a movie like this, where it's sort of a suspenseful, you don't know what's going to happen, it just doesn't work. I don't think like you can do that, like copy the original film that much and expect that the people who saw that movie are going to enjoy this one, because it was just, yeah, like you said, it was just almost a shot for shot type of remake.
It really was. It was really weird.
And that's kind of probably the disappointment of it, was that, and then knowing that we knew what to expect because of that. Now in this one, you do see the witch, sort of. That's even done in a way that sort of, I don't know. I guess like the end was somewhat entertaining. Like you had said to me, it kind of had that haunted house feel, like you're in a haunted house. I mean, it very much had that feel. But as a standalone film, as a movie in and of itself, yeah, it just really does kind of fall flat, because it's just too much like the original.
Yeah, so the basic plot of this one is a little bit different than the original one. So rather than these guys making a documentary of this Blair Witch, you have this guy, James Donahue, who is the younger brother of Heather, who was the girl who went missing in the first one. And I think they said that he was 4 when she disappeared or something.
Right.
But this video online appeared that was supposedly in this house in the woods, and there's this reflection in a mirror, and he's convinced that it's Heather. And so him and a group of friends are going basically into the woods to film another documentary, and they end up tagging along with these other people, the guy who actually had the video that this James character found online, and he's going to tag along with them. And so they end up in the woods, and shocker, they end up getting lost in the woods. Yeah, pretty much everything that happened in the original happened in this one. The one thing that was drastically different in this one compared to the first one is this one is full of not just suspense, because it's not even really full of suspense, but this one is chock full of jump scares.
Oh, way too many.
It is like that's what I was referring to when it was over. Like, oh, that was like going through a haunted house, because I mean, it was like every time somebody turned their head or took a step, there was some jump scare. And it really got to the point where it wasn't adding anything to the movie. It got to the point where you were just sitting there like, come on, enough with the stupid jump scares already. Just get some plot or something into the movie. I'm tired of like every 30 seconds, like, just a little bit. And because that's what they were. And the other thing that really bugged me with this movie was because it took that whole, we're making a documentary, so we are shooting this with a bunch of handheld cameras, and then they had these like weird Bluetooth ear camera things that everybody was wearing in this movie.
Yeah.
So instead of like the original Blair Witch, where it was like filmed with 2 cameras, everybody in the movie has a camera, and there's 6 people in the movie, something like that, 5 people or whatever.
Right.
So they're cutting through 5 different points of perspective.
Right.
The way that they did that was, and I don't know if you got the feeling that I got when I was watching it, but it was, they couldn't make up their mind how they wanted to film it. It was either, okay, it's really rough and really bouncy, and I'm right up against your nose, or it was like really perfect and stylized and crystal clear, to where some of the shots you could tell were like, that's not a camcorder, that's a steady cam, or that's on a boom or something. That's not a cheapo, this is a $200 camcorder from Walmart.
Right. Yeah, I that got a little annoying too. I forgot about that, about the whole notion that it was going to be, but it was very contrived, because like even that, like I thought it was, like at the end when the girl is crawling through the tunnels, and she's got like, she throws the camera ahead of her, so then you get the shots of her face, and it's very like, it's very like what they need, the shots they need is what they give. They have a excuse to give it to you, where it felt a little inauthentic, like the fact that they were able to get so many shots so well. And then like, yeah, then they've got, like, you're right, like the close-ups of the nose or whatever to give you that sense, like, oh, it's all based on their perspective.
Which is so funny, because these things that they were wearing, they were ear cameras or something, but what they looked like was like a Bluetooth that you clip over your ear. It's this little thing. Like if you were a guy, it would come off like probably like into like your sideburn area a little bit. So you have this camera that's on your ear basically, and there was a bunch of, mainly towards the end of the movie, where there was a lot of back and forth between 2 characters. The shots are like really close up to their face, and you're like, wait, so that camera's on her ear, so is she like leaning into him with her ear up against his face? How are they doing that?
Right.
I mean, why are they standing so close to each other?
Right.
So there was that, and then the other thing that really, really got me with the way this was set up was exactly the same that the original was set up. It started with a splash at the following film is contrived of footage that was recovered from the forest in 2014. So the same exact thing that they said at the beginning of the first one in 1999. They have all of this footage supposedly from these 85 different cameras that everybody's using in the movie. And so they edited it all together. But when they edited it all together, they couldn't take the time to edit out all of the stupid static and distortion when they would start the cameras up or when they would turn too fast or bump into something. Because there was a lot of this whole like clicking on cameras and clicking off cameras, and
right.
The screen would distort for, like, really? You're going to put together all this footage and you're like, just leave that in there. That's fine.
Right.
Just horrible.
Yeah, I think we both were kind of disappointed with this one. I don't know exactly what I was looking forward to, or like I was looking, hoping to get out of this one. I think I was hoping for, I don't know, a new take on it or something, a little bit more of a different angle. And I really do like the concept of these films. I like the idea of this myth, and kids wanting to go out and make a documentary or go out in the woods and then all these weird things happening. I love that concept. And I think the original really, did a good job, introducing that. And yeah, with the sequel, it just was sort of a letdown because it just sort of followed the same pattern as the original. It didn't really give you anything new. And with this type of film, I think you really needed more of that new type of interesting, something a little bit more to it this time.
They did try to introduce a couple of new things into it, but the way that it was done, I think it was probably lost on a lot of people, or it just didn't make sense, because it actually didn't make sense to me. And what they were kind of trying to play off, one of the things was you had this group of people that went into the woods together. So you had this original group of people that were looking for Heather. And then you had these two other people that were kind of tagging along. As stuff started to happen, those two groups of people got separated. They got reconnected later on in the movie, and the people that were just the two people were trying to be like, oh, time in the forest is weird. But they never really expanded on that too much, other than the fact that they slept in really late one day, and then one day they got up really early and it was still dark out, and then it never got light again. At the end of the movie, one of the guys who was clean shaven shows up in one scene, and he's got long shaggy hair and a big old beard. But then in the very next scene, he's clean shaven again. And you're like, wait, but what the hell is... I don't know what the hell's going on with that.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that was the one cool thing in this movie, but again, it happened so oddly that I don't think if you were really paying attention at the exact moment that it happened, you would have caught on to it. But again, similar to the first one, there was these twig figures that were showing up in all the trees and stuff. And one of them had one of the girl's hair in the figure, or in the stick figure thing, and one of the other girls was all mad, and she grabbed it and she snapped it, and then that girl that had her hair in the figure, like her body like snapped in half.
Yeah.
But the way that was shot and the way all the commotion that was happening during that thing, I think if you would have blinked during that, you would have missed like, oh wait, that was kind of cool. Oh, never mind, it's over. Just the way that the whole thing was going on, and all these people that were disappearing left and right in the movie, and they never really explained what happened to them.
Didn't really work, did it?
No, it really didn't. It just...
Which is too bad.
Yeah, I was excited for it. I really was. I didn't realize that it was the whole documentary feel to it again, I guess, because the trailer that I watched didn't give off that vibe. And maybe it was, I just wasn't paying attention to it. I'm not sure, but as soon as that first screen showed up with this footage is found in 2014, I went, God damn it! It's going to be the same movie. And it was the same damn movie.
It was. I will say that probably the most exciting thing about going to see this movie today was that Marcus Cinema is going to show Halloween, Friday the 13th, and Night of the Living Dead and A Nightmare on Elm Street for $5 in October.
Yeah, we'll have to make it to at least one of those.
Or 2 or 3. Maybe even 4.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And we had lunch at the theater, which...
that was good. That was a good burger. Right.
Yeah, no, that little restaurant that was there on the movie theater, that was a pretty cool place.
It was pretty cool. Kind of reminded me of the place at Flashback.
Oh, yeah, maybe a little bit. Yeah, I wonder if you go in there... I mean, we tend to go to these movie on Sunday afternoon, like over lunch, so a lot of people are still getting out of church or going to lunch after church or family dinners and things like that. So I wonder if you went there like on a Saturday or a Friday night, if that restaurant is just packed full of people, or...
It probably would be, I would think. Because it was, I mean, it was a good place.
Yeah, it was good. Did you see that pizza they brought out for those people sitting next to us?
Oh, yeah, that big giant pizza. Yeah.
Like 4 feet long. It was insane.
That was pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a cool little theater. Yeah, we'll definitely have to go check out one of those movies for sure, if not a couple of them. I definitely wouldn't mind seeing Friday the 13th on the big screen. That would be cool.
That would be really cool.
I wouldn't be opposed to necessarily going to see Nightmare on Elm Street. Halloween, we've already seen that a couple of times. Not that I wouldn't say no to it. I just don't know if I'd be up to driving an hour to see it for like a 4th time on the big screen. And I could care less about going to see
Night of the Living Dead.
Night of the Living Dead, yeah.
Friday the 13th, I think, would be a cool.
I think it would be cool
viewing. It would be cool to see that.
And we would have to go see that and play the whole, like, oh, this is our first time seeing it. And then when Pamela Voorhees comes out of the shadows, just be, oh my God, I can't believe that's her. And then at the very end of the movie, you know, when Tom Savini's hands are up, like, wiggling after she gets decapitated, just be like, why are her knuckles so hairy? That's gross.
Yeah, good idea.
Just be total jerks. The other thing,
shocked when Jason jumps out of the lake at the end.
Completely just like jump up on our seats.
Just like so blown away, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that just happened.
What's wrong with him? He's all deformed.
Bunch of like horror virgins.
Oh, that'd be funny.
That would be.
So the one thing we didn't mention that was actually ended up being kind of cool, even though at first I was like, oh, really? Is we went to the movie this afternoon, and when we walked into the theater, we were the only 2 in there. So we picked our seats.
I forgot about that.
Nice in the middle of the theater. We were like halfway up, and right in the center was perfect. And then we were the only 2 in there. And one of the usher people came in right at the beginning of the movie when they were showing some of the previews and kind of peeked in. But other than that, it was just the 2 of us, which was...
that was kind of strange.
Yeah, it was.
Cool, it was strange.
I'm trying to think if that's the first time I've ever watched a movie by myself. I mean, I know there's been a few times when it's been like me and a handful of people, or me and like some stranger that I don't know.
Right.
But I don't know if this is the first time that we've ever had the theater completely to ourselves. But it was funny, too, because you had gotten up one time and left and came back. As you were coming back, I'm, like, shouting at you through the theater, hey, you just missed this cool part, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, walking through the theater, you're like, oh, what did I miss?
Yeah, that was kind of cool, wasn't it?
So that was kind of cool, even though it kind of reflects back on the Blair Witch of how it's doing at the box office, I think. Because it's not like we were the only people at that movie theater. I mean, there was a bunch of other people there. It's just there was, however, 8 or 10 other movies playing, so...
Yeah, it's sad that, well, I guess it's not sad because we didn't really care for the movie. But
not at all.
It just didn't do that well. I mean, they made their money back for sure, and they're okay in that sense, but...
Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to touch on is in reference to that, and this goes kind of what we've talked about before in here and the Hollywood model and all this other crap, is this movie was made for supposedly the estimate's around $5 million, which to me seems a little high if you watch this movie. I mean, there are 6 people in the movie. There's nobody else in the movie. I think they kind of did what a lot of these movies were doing back in the late 90s through the 2000s, and that is have people that are nobodies be in the movie. The movie only grossed $17 million, but if you have a $5 million movie and it makes $17 million, I mean, that's over a 300% profit on the movie.
Yeah, it ain't too bad, is it?
But, in Hollywood standards, I get that, 17 million's, that's nothing. When I keep reading that this movie was a flop, I just want to... No, it was not a flop at all. If I make 300% on my return, that's not a flop at all. I mean, honestly,
definitely not a flop.
Honestly, I would rather put out a movie like this every week than have a $300 million movie that makes $500 million. I mean, I could put these out all the time. And this movie, I would assume this is one of those ones where they went into the woods with the cameras and probably shot for a weekend or... a week or something, and all right, let's call it a wrap, and then they were done. Compared to some of this other crap where it takes a year to make a movie or 2 years to make a movie.
Yeah, it couldn't have been that long to film. I mean, it must have been kind of complicated just to get all those cameras edited in, like how they put together.
Well, I bet you they probably did exactly what they kind of were claiming to do. Was they probably did? Everybody probably had some. Those things probably were actually cameras, and then they probably did have some handheld cams, but I guarantee you there was like some real camera work in there at some point.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I would assume like a lot of those scenes, it was all right, here goes film this scene. And it's probably the same thing with the original one was, all right, so here's what we want to accomplish. You're going to be mad at him. She's going to be mad at you. You guys need to yell at each other. And action kind of stuff.
Right.
I wouldn't imagine that there was a lot of script into this one. I can't imagine there would have been the Blair Witch is on its 4th rewrite this week.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to have to give this one a thumbs down, I think, aren't we?
2 thumbs up for sure.
Not my thumb.